My name is David Snow. I'm with the Exposure Report. I'm here as a journalist and constitutional activist, and because expressive speech is protected under the First Amendment, I'm using my time for peaceful, patriotic expression.
All right, I am Leroy Truth, Plainfield, and a pleasure to be here today, everybody. And you couldn't even wait for our Star Spangled Banner to be done before you interrupt me. How dare you? This is our Star Spangled Banner, our national anthem.
So Franklin, could you have him step out? Thank you. Please state your name and your municipality.
Anonymous. So I'll make a couple statements. This resolution targeting dancing, singing, silence were all three things I was doing at the last meeting. And none of you need to look any farther than that law firm right there. Know who you're surrounded by. This is the same law firm that banned the American flag in Edison.
I'm ElRampador. I am with sativacross.org. We're a 501c3 fighting for disability rights and cannabis patients' rights here in New Jersey. You have no wheelchair access to the front of your building.
Name and municipality.
I'd rather not give my name.
Municipality.
I'd rather not give that either. Are we going to, so you guys made a resolution to ban singing, dancing. Are you guys going to be enforcing those things? Because I've seen tonight that you guys really haven't. So if you're not going to enforce them, can you repeal?
Hi, my name is Keith Kaplan. I'm a resident of Teaneck, New Jersey. Someone had pointed out the resolution you had passed and brought it to my attention. It's similar to resolutions I had previously fought when Mahwah, Upper Saddle River, and other towns had passed similar kinds of rules and regulations in 2017 and 2018. It's also similar to regulations that I fought in my own town in the last year. I successfully brought an Open Public Meetings Act suit against my Board of Education. If someone in a similar vein were to get up in your gallery right now, and on the back of their jacket, it said, "Fuck this council," would that be permitted?
I believe what we have seen tonight is an example of the whirlwind coming back because of that resolution that hampers free speech.
And thanks again for the performances, guys. First Amendment people, you guys are great. Thank you.
Welcome to Social Justice Water Plant.
For the money parade. What's the song you be singing?
Oh, the song I sung last time? Map's getting raised, watch the money parade. Council's getting raised, call it lemonade. Sip, 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 while the cash flows deep. Plainfield dance to the salary beat. Map's getting paid, watch the money parade. Yeah. See, we got fans, we got support.
So we're here in Plainfield, and the city council banned singing, dancing, and silence. Those three things that I was doing at the last meeting. This reminds me a lot of Edison. You know, it's the same law firm. Remember, it's the same law firm.
All right, so we now enter general comments. A total of 30 minutes has been allocated for all public comments. Each speaker will have 3 minutes. The floor is now open. Please state your name and municipality.
Just general comments?
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is David Snow. I'm with the Exposure Report. I'm here as a journalist and constitutional activist, and because expressive speech is protected under the First Amendment, I'm using my time for peaceful, patriotic expression. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we have At the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were still gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Thank you. Thank you. The freedoms represented in our anthem includes the public's right to speak, to express, and to show up without government deciding how comfortable our expression needs to be. Because when policies start telling the public how they are allowed to express themselves, that's not transparency, that's control. Public meetings don't belong to the government, they belong to the people. And the real test of openness isn't how you handle agreement. The real test is how you respond when the public exercises its rights. Tonight I'm here as a journalist and an activist to observe and document how this council meets that test. Because when government starts limiting expression, the public starts watching. And the record will reflect what happens in this room. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Anybody else in the gallery? All right.
Is this public comment time for general public comments? Yes. Okay, yeah, I would like to. Also, please.
Nancy? Was what?
No, you go ahead. You go first.
You go ahead.
Anyone else wants to go before me? Not a lot of food here.
State your name and municipality for the record, please.
Okay. Came up very quickly. I didn't know it was going to be this quick. Okay. All right. I am Leroy Truth, Plainfield. And a pleasure to be here today, everybody. And for all of the Latin-speaking members of our beautiful community of Plainfield, part one of my presentations during this time is Salve Memora Concili, Municipalitas Plainfieldae, hodie adsum non ut scanum faciam sed ut constitutium recitam, lex publicorum conventium novi cessare, liberatam los quindinas suspendit, consialam municipal non est censor publicus. Hello, members of the Plainfield, New Jersey Council. You, the Plainfield, New Jersey City Council, have unconstitutionally banned singing, rapping, dancing, silence, and the criticism of you. Well, God bless. I was so impressed with the Star-Spangled Banner from this handsome gentleman here. I am Leroy Truth of Leroy Truth Investigations. Please subscribe. I'm here not to make a stage. I'm here to be your very own personal mirrors to clearly and unflinchingly reflect back to you your unconstitutional inanity, reflecting your epistemologically inane conduct, clearly demonstrating your obtuse, fatuous, puerile, adolaptic, cretinous, benighted, cognitively amorphous, intellectually vacuous, epidemically impaired ordinances, and to mirror back to you your mentally invertebrate mode of thinking that mistakes authority for legitimacy and ignorance for power. Because obviously you all need a reminder. I'm so happy you sang. The New Jersey Public Meetings Act does not suspend free speech. Singing, dancing, silence, symbolic expression, and criticism of each of you is all sacred First Amendment protected speech. The First Amendment does not protect agreeable speech. A city council is not a censorship board. When you ban expression itself, that's not civility, that's prior restraint. And also, you inspire me, young man. In honor of our Constitution and supporting our Constitution, the Star Spangled Banner.
Thank you, your time is up. Thank you, your time is up. Thank you, your time is up. Sir, thank you, your time is up.
And you couldn't even wait for our Star Spangled
Thank you,
Banner to
your
be
time is
done before you interrupt me. How dare you?
Your time
This is
is
our
up.
Star Spangled Banner, our national
Officer
anthem.
Franklin, could you have him step out? Thank you.
For what reason?
Thank you.
Get your thing.
Under what reason are you having me leave?
Get your thing.
So perhaps,
Why are you
Get
having?
your camera, get your thing.
What law did I break? Only, I'm gonna leave.
It's yours.
Now, hold on.
gonna help
Don't
you.
touch my equipment.
I'm gonna help you.
You do not have authorization to do that. What law did I break that I was just told by force I'm gonna be removed by the police? President,
thank
what
you.
law did I
Please, could you exit?
break? I am, I gotta get.
Thank
out
you,
of
sir.
this, man. I'm absolutely exiting. But what law did I break? You need to state, what law or statute did I break that you are unlawfully and unconstitutionally removing me from this meeting? And you interrupted me while I was playing our national anthem. You didn't
Sir.
interrupt the singer here.
Sir, your last warning. You're about to be placed under arrest for disorderly conduct. Do you understand?
I am-
Exit the building now.
I am leaving.
Exit the building now. That's what I said. That's it.
So perhaps we're going to reiterate, back in January, the council passed a resolution. The resolution was R004-26. And I'm going to ask the clerk to read Part B of that resolution. And it outlines the conduct.
Thanks for the heads up. Part B, a total of 30 minutes has been allocated for all public comments to be presented. Large groups are urged to select a spokesperson to represent them. Each person is allocated 3 minutes to speak. The presiding officer or majority on the council may extend the length of time allocated. No speaker shall engage in any personally offensive, derogatory, or abusive remarks. The president shall immediately call to order any speaker who violates this provision. An officer from the Plainfield Police Department may remove any disruptive person at the discretion of the presiding officer.
Thank you.
And after your 3 minutes has concluded, it is considered being disruptive, continuing after the 3 minutes.
Thank you. So please understand, I'm not looking to, I welcome comments from the public, but please understand that our city, we pay good tax dollars, and this is where we conduct the people's business. This is where we conduct the people's business. This is not a playground. This is where we conduct the people's business. All right? So this is the last warning that I'm providing everyone this year. We want to be able to make sure that we do the people's business and we execute the people's business in a professional way. And there's decorum. Yelling and speaking after your 3 minutes is not professional. And again, I'm going to say this again, I welcome open public comment, but I will not be disrespected, and I'm not going to allow anybody here to be disrespected. Please state your name and your municipality.
Anonymous. So I'll make a couple statements. That was really despicable to watch. This is the United States of America. And you know the song. So it was seconds from being completed. But you're giving the presentation of what? You said this isn't a stage? Ma'am, I beg to differ. This is my 3 minutes. This is my stage. This is my platform. And all I've ever been was civil. This resolution targeting dancing, singing, silence, were all three things I was doing at the last meeting. And none of you need to look any farther than that law firm right there. Know who you're surrounded by. This is the same law firm that banned the American flag in Edison. And he'll get paid on the back end if these things get litigated. He gets paid when he writes a resolution. He gets paid when he writes an ordinance. And if it gets litigated, he gets paid on the back end. So please, understand the liability issues that this person over here, and you guys unanimously voted on this. This is the other thing, too. It says in this resolution, no back and forth. Otherwise known as a conversation, ladies and gentlemen. They refuse to have a conversation with the general public. A back and forth. We frame that in a negative context. No back and forth means no questions. No questions will be answered. No questions, not here, not any time. And this is what we get from government? No dialogue? No nothing? If you have the right to speak, you have the right to not speak. This council tried to ban silence. May I have a moment of silence for the ends of their careers? Okay, so silence is okay. Singing apparently is okay. What are we talking about? How embarrassing. I would be embarrassed if I were you guys. But that's what you get when you have bad legal advice from the worst law firm in New Jersey, who likes to ban things like the American flag at meetings. Limit your freedom. Limit your expression. Know who you're surrounded by. It's very important. And, Ms. Chair, I thought that was disgraceful for you to act like what was happening was anything other than a man using his public time
Thank you so
and
much. Your time is
expressing
up.
his freedom
Your 3
of
minutes
speech.
are up. Thank you so much.
That was
I
a
appreciate
finishing
your-
a sentence.
Thank you so much.
You should
Your
be
3
allowed to
minutes are
finish
up.
the sentence.
Your 3 minutes are up. Thank you so much for your comment. You have a clock. Thank you. It's right there. Happy New Year. Yeah.
9 o'clock. Where's the clock?
State your name, municipality.
I'm ElRampador. I am with sativacross.org. We're a 501c3 fighting for disability rights and cannabis patients' rights here in New Jersey. You have no wheelchair access to the front of your building. Why don't you have access for disabled vets and cancer patients? I had to ask to come in the building. That is not accessibility. At City Hall, you have a lift. I don't even know if the old thing works. And they plowed in my handicap spots all over the state. If you look at the handicap spots, you'll see a big pile of snow. No F's given for disabled vets, cancer patients, or MS. Can Mayor Mapp talk to his wife and have the CRC give access to our vets, because we have no access to dispensaries or lounges. The CRC can do something with the stroke of a pen, but the disabled vets get the shaft. They can't get in your dispensary, especially in the urban enterprise zones where they should have a lawsuit. They can't get into these businesses that have a step. It's the same as saying no blacks allowed, no gays allowed, and no women or Irish allowed. Because a step is a wall. It's discriminatory and racist and sexist and ableist. And we don't like steps anymore. Please, Mayor Mapp, talk to your wife and help disabled vets get into dispensaries. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not worry them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. Thank you.
Anybody else for public comments? Name and municipality.
I'd rather not give my name.
Municipality.
I'd rather not give that either. Are we going to, so you guys made a resolution to ban singing, dancing. You also banned what is deemed offensive language. That's kind of like vague and subjective. Are you guys going to be enforcing those things? Because I've seen tonight that you guys really haven't. So if you're not going to enforce them, can you repeal the thing? Because I have more important things to, talk about. You guys going to repeal the ordinance that you guys put forward for singing and dancing? Because when I first came in here, there was someone singing, and then there was people singing today, and they played instruments, and they said things that maybe you didn't like. So, I mean, it sounds like everything that you guys passed in that ordinance happened tonight, right? All right. All right, so after the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in New York Pistol Association versus Bruin, the citizens had the right to carry firearms in public for self-defense. New Jersey also responded by raising the cost and exercising that right for it jumped from $50 to $200, and $150 goes directly to the municipality. Is that right, Minchello? All right. So there are 16 municipalities that actually are giving back to the people, and they're refunding the 150 out of the 200 back to the taxpayers for their concealed carry right to their concealed carry permits. So there was one mayor in Englishtown, I forget his name. What's his name? Dan Francesco, who started it off, and then there's been 16 other towns that have followed suit. I'm actually going to be starting to go around everywhere because some people can't afford the $200 to conceal carry, and it used to be $50. It jumped, but the $150 goes to the town, and it should really go back to the people. So if you want to do something for the people and help them out, it's $50 for the concealed carry permit. Let them charge the $200, refund them the $150 because the $150 goes to the municipality. So I'd like to see that happen. So that's why I'm here. All right, but I would like an answer as to, are we going to enforce that bill that you passed about the singing, dancing, because that's really freedom of expression, right? So I would say that's part of my First Amendment right for freedom of expression, freedom of speech, whether that's singing or dancing or whatever it be. But I would like to, because I didn't see it enforced tonight. So that's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you for your comment. Anybody online?
We have 4 people online.
Thank you. State your name and your municipality for the record, please.
Also, if you are listening to us on YouTube, please mute the YouTube. It will cause a feedback.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Keith Kaplan. I'm a resident of Teaneck, New Jersey. Someone had pointed out the resolution you had passed and brought it to my attention. It's similar to resolutions I had previously fought when Mahwah, Upper Saddle River, and other towns had passed similar kinds of rules and regulations in 2017 and 2018. It's also similar to regulations that I fought in my own town in the last year. I successfully brought an Open Public Meetings Act suit against my Board of Education for similar enacted statutes. And I wanted to ask you, because I've heard comments stated at this meeting, which some people might find offensive. I assume you didn't stop the meeting because you didn't subjectively find them offensive yourself. But if somebody were to mention something that you personally find offensive, is that what stops the meeting? Because the rules of the Open Public Meetings Act require that everyone be allowed to speak their mind. Subjective requirements are precisely what they ban. So let me give you an example. The Supreme Court said in Cohen v. California that certain words were permitted under the freedom of speech. If someone in a similar vein were to get up in your gallery right now, and on the back of their jacket, it said, "Fuck this council," would that be permitted? It was permitted to speak at the lectern of the United States Supreme Court. Would it be permitted on a jacket in your council chambers? It's unclear to me, based on this rule. Would it be subjectively offensive to someone? Certainly, it's subjectively offensive to a lot of people. To take it further, if someone just mentioned a Second Amendment case, if somebody went forward and said something similar to Watts v. U.S., that's when they said, if you put a rifle in my hand, the first person I target is LBJ. Now, I think it would be despicable, and no one should ever target a sitting member of a council. I personally was a sitting member of the council. But that doesn't mean that it's not protected by the First Amendment. If someone said that, if someone stood up and said it, would you tell them that their mic is off and they're being removed? Or would you say, yes, it's something reprehensible, something we object to, but you're allowed to say it? These rules and regulations are found in the Open Public Meetings Act. Section 10 is the civil rights section of our code. That's where the Open Public Meetings Act is found. And it's because it's in the Civil Rights Act that remedies can be brought against municipalities.
Thank you so much for your comment. Your time is up. Sir? Thank you. Next person?
You know, I'm reminded that if you sow to the wind, you reap a whirlwind in return. And I believe what we have seen tonight is an example of the whirlwind coming back because of that resolution that hampers free speech. And I would hate to think that our self-esteem is so low that we can't let people get their little 3 minutes off and leave the mic. You did an excellent job tonight, not wielding your authority in the bully pit to stop them tonight before their 3 minutes. But I just think the whole thing is ridiculous. It's free speech. Let people say what they have to say. Your shoulders should be big enough to be able to shoulder it because that's what you signed up for. Not everybody's going to be in agreement with what you do, what you decide on. They might not even agree that they like you. And they might think you are a name that you don't think that you are. But I just think this is the time that you sit up there and you do like we tell kids, sticks and stones. So I just want to commend you for not using your bully put tonight, but I just think that maybe you should look into just rescinding that whole resolution because we don't want to get.
Thank you, Ms. Kwame Palmer Chambers. Thank you. Sir, thank you. Next speaker.
Yes, hello?
Yes. State your name and municipality for the record.
Yes, good evening. My name is Sebastian Torres, and I'm from Plainfield, New Jersey. Yes, well, first off, I would like to say that I'm very upset that I was not there in person tonight to catch all the great performances. I think that it's great that these First Amendment people are questioning this resolution that was passed because, honestly, I think it was a big mistake. It does not make any sense whatsoever. Now, I think it's funny that the administration is so against performances, right? Because a lot of what is done by this administration is a performance. Let me just provide an example, right? The other day, the students of Plainfield had a march, right? They protested against ICE. And we had the mayor out there performing in front of the students, right? And I say performing because he gave a speech. But at the same time, he refuses to hold his own administration accountable and the people he hires accountable for being prejudiced, for being xenophobic, for promoting ICE activity. He's still hiring a person who promoted these vile things that are happening in the community, and he has yet to hold that person accountable. He actually rehired that person. So that's why I think it's a performance, because a lot of what we see from the administration is just talking and yapping, but there's never any actual resolutions as far as what is to be done when people confront ICE, what is the administration doing, using the police department perhaps to keep the citizens safe. None of that has been done. None of that has been communicated. So it all to me just seems like a performance. Now, the mayor says that he stands by his Latino community. And I heard Mr. Carano today, I think that's his last name, talk about retaliation. Now, I'm a person that has served on the Plainfield Culture and Heritage Committee now for a couple years. This year, for some reason, it seems that my commissionship has not been renovated. Now, I would hate to think that that has to do with retaliation and perhaps being outspoken and criticizing the mayor. This is not the type of leadership that we need in the city, this petty, spineless, weak leadership that decides to, behind closed doors, do sketchy things in order to, appease their friends and then in public say something else, okay? When you have Latino people like myself trying to be active in the community and you negate their ability to do that, that's retaliation, and that is not standing by the Latino community. When you're hiring people who are xenophobic, that is not standing by the Latino community. I don't know how this is supposed to be leadership that we want in Washington. First of all, I think that's absolutely ludicrous, laughable, right? To have such, well, not at all anymore, because I think that's kind of what Trump embodies. So, I think maybe it might fit in. I don't know. But anyway, that's just all I had to say. And thanks again for the performances, guys. First Amendment people, you guys are great. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Anybody else?
I just want to say that I am highly and thoroughly embarrassed of the performances this evening. When you guys come before us and meet, it's to take care of the city of Plainfield residents and the things that we need taken care of. And when we take time for people that want to be anonymous, people are not citizens of and residents of Plainfield, not citizens but residents of Plainfield, and they take up our time. I think that's unfair to us, the taxpaying citizens of Plainfield. We want things done. We want things moved. And I think when they do this, they take away from the energy that needs to be put into what the plans to move Plainfield forward. They're taken away from that. So I just want to thank each and every one of you guys for coming out, voicing your opinion, but let's take it serious, because the job that they're there to perform, it's a serious situation. They have to go home at night. They have to show their faces in the community. They have to come back to us with these resolutions. They have to come back to us with these answers. And I think that when we take time for nonsense, it take away the seriousness of what they're there for. And me, as a Plainfield homeowner, tax-paying citizen, it just burns me.
Name and municipality for the record, please.
Hi, my name is Meg. I live in Plainfield.
Say that again.
My name is Meg. I live in Plainfield.
Go ahead, Meg.
I just wanted to make a comment about the resolution. I think it sets an extremely dangerous precedent to kind of put these measures forward without, I guess, considering the possible ramifications later on. I do understand that people find whatever is happening today in the chambers disruptive or unproductive. However, I feel like that wouldn't be happening at all if such a resolution wasn't passed without kind of considering what would happen after. I feel like this is a gross, I guess, limitation on free speech and being able to express and talk to council, regardless of if it's irritating or unproductive. That's kind of, I feel like that kind of comes with the job, and it would grant more time for people to be able to focus on the important matters if they didn't feel like they either had to test what their freedoms were, that seem to also not be enforced, or even this resolution passed and then skipping the previous council meeting or canceling it and then bringing it here. I think it just sets an extremely dangerous precedent, and that should be looked into. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Eliko, is there anybody else?
Okay. Good evening, Madam President, Mayor Mapp, City Council. I don't know if it's like too late, but I want to speak out against like the resolution about decorum or whatever, censorship, you would say. A lot of wording is vague, which I don't like. I don't think we should be censoring speech, whether it's singing or poetry, and silencing silence is even crazier. For me, it's personal. For one, I'm like a free speech absolutist, like even hate speech. I'd rather know who my enemies are rather than they stab me in the back. And I feel like silencing just makes evil fester and spread in the dark. And two, I suffer from a traumatic brain injury. So like my short-term memory can like stuck at times. But you know what I'm great at? Like memorizing music, memorizing rhythm. So like what if I wanted to use that as a tool for what I wanted to say? Would there be exceptions? We shouldn't even have to make exceptions. So I might not agree with how others may go about their expression of free speech, but I'd rather deal with the quote unquote antics than have rights stripped away. So we need a middle ground, and this isn't it. This is very, very dangerous.
So tonight we heard a lot of critique of the resolution that was adopted at the reorganization meeting. Let me first start by saying this resolution is adopted in some form at every reorganization meeting as long as I've been around. It's just roughly about 20 years in the city of Plainfield, and I bet you it's been around a lot longer. And what it does is it sets forth rules of decorum for a council meeting. Every council president who has preceded you, council president, has had the right to set the rules of decorum within the confines of the law. Okay? And without exception, those rules, every prior council president has been granted that authority to interpret those rules to ensure that the business of the city is done in an efficient and expedited manner, and so that every individual in the room who wishes to speak can have that opportunity to speak. So what that means, Council President, is making sure that disruptions are not tolerated, which you have done this evening, to make sure that time frames are set. These are not content-based restrictions. These are non-content-based restrictions for the purposes of allowing for the business of the city to take place. So, Council President, I want to commend you this evening. You allowed for robust debate. You allowed individuals to speak, but you held firm to the rules so that the meeting could move forward. If you deem any action to be disruptive to that business, you have the authority, Council President, to ask that person to stop, to give a warning, and then ultimately remove that individual. All right? As your legal counsel, I want to say that there was not even a close call tonight. You made sure that everyone's rights were preserved, the First Amendment was preserved, and still allow this meeting to progress and the business to be done. So I'm happy to answer any questions from any council member on this issue. But I want to commend you on your presiding of the meeting this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Flag out front, people wave and cheer. He just rolls his eyes. Can we get that out of here? Constitution cute, that's about a page. Let's tuck your freedoms in a little legal cage. He traps the trap, then he sets the bait. Public comment ends at already too late. So to get your basic rights restored, look who's cashing in again at court. Oh, David Minchello runs a municipal circus, selling crooked scripts to the mayors who trust him. Raps a bad rule, then he waits for the fine, gets paid on the way out.
This guy truly hates the American flag and our freedoms.